Want to welcome our boy Connor Rogers to the club. One of the best clubs. The other club is going to come next in a little while, depending on how quickly y'all decide to get down to business. But that's none of my business. Congratulations. Connor Rogers he has outkicked his coverage, and he is this incredible young lady's #1 draft pick. She has decided that he is her franchise player. Congratulations, Connor. Welcome, soon to be, to the club. Congratulations on the engagement. Congratulations on getting the I do, my friend.
Thank you so much, guys. What a lovely intro. I really appreciate that. I know my fiance, Kristen, really appreciates that. So thank you so much.
Shout out to Kristen. I didn't want to say her name.
Hey, Kristen,
that was you.
And the phrasing that you put up there, man, that's like probably the most time you spent crafting something, right? I mean, that is like,
yes,
that was
easily.
Just perfect. Like, I got to get this right. It's short, but I got to get it right.
Yeah, that took me longer than a mock draft or any kind of podcast I've ever done. I sat there on the Notes app all day, and I was like, I got one shot at this, so I better hit it out of the park. And I think that went even better than the actual proposal. So, listen, once in a while I dust off the pen and could write a little bit here and there.
You did. No,
well
I mean,
done.
First of all, she plays Mario Kart, so well done. Great job on the scouting report there. And to my gym partner, that quietly outlifts everyone else.
There it is.
The detail.
Oh, there it is.
Unbelievable.
There it is.
All right. Shout out to
Good
Kristen.
line.
I didn't know if you want everybody to know her name, but
It's okay.
But good. You said it. All good. Shout out to Kristen. Congratulations on the pending nuptials. So, somebody is going to decide that Anthony Richardson is the one. Today was his pro day. He did what we know Anthony Richardson can do, which is throw the ball really far. And so on and so forth. We talked about this post-combine, but at the owners' meeting, Connor, and since the combine performance, I'm hearing more and more reservations about Anthony Richardson and whether or not we know he could put on the show at a pro day, but can he be a solid pro? What are you hearing as the draft creeps closer about whether Anthony Richardson can actually translate to the next level and be a quarterback and not just the spectacular athlete that he's been? I know I don't want to be unfair. He showed some good quarterbacking at Florida, but so little of it insofar as he only started for 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the reservations, but I look at it the other way and go, man, there's so much more untapped with this guy. And when you look at the trajectory, he was so great in the second half of the season. He really cut down on the turnovers. He played clean football. The running gives him a floor that doesn't exist with a lot of different quarterback prospects. I think it existed with Lamar Jackson, and while Lamar came into the league as a fantastic runner, it helped elevate him as a passer, and I think Richardson can go through a similar trajectory at the next level. And, you know, I get kind of hung up here, guys. I hear a lot of people say he's raw or he's inaccurate. I think those aren't necessarily – he has accuracy issues in the short range, but when you look at the intermediate numbers, because I just wrote him up a couple weeks ago, he was 53 for 87 in the 10 to 19-yard range. That is how you win in the NFL. That's what Joe Burrow does. That's what Patrick Mahomes does. Everybody loves the highlight reel, the big play, and he could throw the ball a mile. He has that in his back pocket as well. But you win by chipping away in that intermediate layer of the field. And Richardson was phenomenal in 2022 in that regard. He was accurate in that way. He threw for over 10 yards per attempt in that intermediate range. And when you dial in that running ability that also should count as short area passing, you really should package those together with a quarterback prospect. This guy has it all. He just needs to play. He's 20 years old. He needs to play. And that's when the mechanics will come together more consistently. The decision-making, which once again took a leap from September to November, that will come together as well. He's a top 5 pick in my eyes, and I don't know if he gets past the 3rd pick when somebody trades into that Arizona spot.
He needs to play, and he needs to go to the right situation. Okay, that's another part. But Michael, he's an impressive kid with a great story. I told you I got to kick it at the combine. I know he nailed interviews, Michael. Or those dinners he had with the Panthers and Raiders last night. I know he nailed those.
I want to bet. You know, I can't help betting, and it's legal everywhere. I'm gonna bet both of y'all. Ain't no way that guy's going in the top 5. There's no way. It's top 5. Top 5. Top
Michael,
5 because he's scary.
We can make this bet.
Okay, let's make the bet. Let's make the bet.
Kind of say he's your Huckleberry. Kind of say he's your Huckleberry.
All right, we'll do it. I just think he's scary. How many starts in his career? Is it 11 or 13 in his entire career? How many starts is it for Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, it's under.
What's the number?
It's right around there. It is, because he only started 4 the year before that. He was a full season starter. So it's a low number that's under that 15 to 20 mark that a lot of guys get to. But that won't stop teams. It won't. Whether it's the Colts at 4, whether it's somebody going into 3, whether it's somebody going into 5. I'll be really surprised if we see a slide for Richardson on draft night.
So let me ask you this. How do you have – I probably jumped ahead here, and we'll figure out what the bet is. But then again, I shouldn't be betting a man who's about to get married. You just focus. That should be your focus. Your focus should be the wedding. How do you have the quarterbacks ranked, like, your top 5 quarterbacks? Who are they and why?
Yeah, so there's 3 tiers for me in the top 5. Tier 1 is Bryce Young, who's number 1 overall, and then C.J. Stroud, not too far. And then tier 2 in his own is Richardson, and he's still a top 15 player. The quarterback tax means he will be drafted much earlier than that. He's in a tier of his own. And then you get to tier 3. That's where it's Will Levis and Hendon Hooker. Really, those guys should be drafted at the top of the second round and taken as developmental players. Hooker, because he's coming off the ACL tear, he's going to need time. Levis.
But let me jump in.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Let me jump in on, because I definitely want to get to Hooker. Sorry to interrupt you, but I want you to kind of like focus on this if you don't mind. I was reading your draft notebook, which was great, over at NBCSports.com. And you talked about, and it's the first time and it never dawned on me, but it was the first time I saw somebody bring up this point. It was brilliant. Coming off the ACL, sneak into the back of the first round to get that 5th-year option on him and give yourself more time, give him a longer contract, even though he's 25. That seemed like a brilliant maneuver. And Hooker, I'm biased. Michael and I talked to him. He was fantastic. He presents well, sharp kid. I know he's nailed interviews as well. But what is it, 58 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in 2 years? And, he can run as well. Like, I know our boy Chris Sims has got him right there with Bryce Young in his second tier. And I've heard nothing but great things about Hendon Hooker, but for the injury and to a lesser extent the age. Is he somebody who could go a lot higher than people project?
I think so. And to bring up the number you were pointing to, he's thrown 5 interceptions on 631 pass attempts over the last 2 seasons. Wow. That's elite ball security in the SEC. I don't care what offense you play in, what receivers you're throwing to. That is a special ability. And he only got better this year. He had 9 turnover-worthy plays in 2021. He had 4 in 2022. So he's improved. It doesn't matter that he's an older quarterback prospect. And back to the original point, I don't ever want to say an injury benefits a guy, but if you're looking for the glass half full, if he's not ready to start this year, I want that 5th-year option. I want to take him in the first round, and I want 5 years of team control plus 2 franchise tags for Hendon Hooker. I don't want to wait till day 2, and then you could blink, and it's already time to get paid if he has a really good year when he's ready to play. So I think he's somebody that you watch how efficient he's been, how productive he's been. The only area where he needs significant improvement, and it's for all of these guys besides Bryce Young, is under pressure. His numbers drastically dropped off when he was pressured. It was about 23% of his dropbacks. It's not a great sample. He struggled in that way, but all young quarterbacks do besides Bryce Young, who's out of this world under pressure.
So who you got? Who's your number 1? Who's going well? Who's Carolina?
It's Bryce Young. It's Bryce Young, and I'm fascinated to see how Carolina balances this.
Because Chris Sims,
they very well could take Stroud.
Has Stroud? Why do you put Young over Stroud?
I think what's in between Young's ears is special. I haven't seen a quarterback be able to see the field pre-snap and post-snap the way this guy does besides Joe Burrow. That's it. That's the list right there of college quarterbacks that have come into the league since I've been scouting, that when they see the field, they understand zone coverage, they understand man coverage, they understand layering throws at all 3 levels, they understand timing. They don't look down at the rush when the rush is coming his way. He's got a twitchy lower half that he can reset. I think Bryce Young is special in the sense of how he operates in bad situations. The ability to lift the team out of bad situations is very, very unique. So if a team can get over the size outlier part, which is going to be tough, and it might be a reason that Carolina opts for Stroud, who is absolutely a tier 1 quarterback for me this year, really, really good prospect, but not the same player when passing under pressure and pre-snap. that Bryce Young is. Bryce Young is in a league of his own in those categories.
I had a coach. I said this before. I had a coach at the combine tell me that Bryce Young could be an NFL offensive coordinator tomorrow. And I think the Texans, Alabama tied with DeMeco Ryans, and Nick Caserio. Listen, kind of like relationships, Connor. As we close this conversation, and we started off with a relationship that is blossoming that you have going, and now about to take that next step. It's like when you got a good one, and that's what you know. If you got to move on, you're looking for a lot of those same qualities. If you're Nick Caserio and you got a guy in Bryce Young that carries himself like a Tom Brady, you're praying that's the guy that you get in Houston. So well, I think the Texans would love to see Bryce Young at 2, if the Panthers go ahead and take Stroud at 1. So,
Well, the only thing, Mike, yeah, Mike, you said the only thing is you said you got a good one, you got to move on. No, let's not move on.
God forbid you got to move on.
Yeah. Okay.
Connor and Kristen going to be together forever. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, guys. It was great talking to you.
All right, brother. Take care.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.